Okay. Hi, everybody. We're so excited to be here. We are here talking about the Golden Globes nominations and the prom two-time nominee. It's very exciting. and, and I am joined by Austin Burke is here.
Hey, what's going on, Rachel? Nice to be live on your channel. Nice to talk some Golden Globes. And what just happened? I mean, that was not only the nominations themselves, but they just kind of flew through everything. And I'm trying to do a reaction video going, slow. Okay, come on. But we'll talk about it, I'm sure.
I know. It made me laugh because we just did the Hallmarkies Podcast Awards, and I'm just feeling really good about our production values over at Hallmarkies Podcast.
This looks significantly better than that entire thing looked. I can tell you that right now.
I mean, they just had, it was basically this. The quality of the Golden Globes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It was really funny. And I mean, it never ceases to amaze me because I saw over 300 movies in 2020. And yet there's just still always ones that not only have I never seen, I never heard of some of these movies. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's the Mauritian or however you say it? I have no idea. I never heard of it.
That one I got a screener for. The one that I had never, I can't even remember the name of the movie now. Like legitimately can't remember. Wait, hang on. Let me look it up. I had never, so I got a screener for the Mauritanian. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I was confident that at least the Golden Globes would show it some love because it's so random that it just figures to be that kind of movie. But the one that I'm curious about is, okay, so I have the name. Music.
Yeah.
Orland says it. Music.
Yeah. What on earth? We'll talk about that.
What is, no, Rachel, look, what is that? I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but only bad things. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, and you'll be much help with the television picks because I don't watch that much television. So,
okay.
All right, let's do this. And we have the chat room open, so we appreciate your comments coming in. So we'll start out Best Picture Drama. And we have The Father, which I've heard really good things about. I have not seen.
Phenomenal.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah, and it's it almost puts you in the shoes of Hopkins' character, which I've never seen before. It is bafflingly well made, and it keeps moving up my 2020 list. It's great. It's great.
I gotta see it. Is it going to be on Netflix?
No, I'm not 100% on the release date. I think they're doing the simultaneous VOD theatrical release though. So I think it's this month. Yeah, I think it's this month.
Okay. Well, then we have Mank. And this was to Netflix. Of course, David Fincher. What did you think about Mank?
I loved the technical aspects. I didn't resonate with the story as much. I think it is an extremely well-made, competently made movie. It's not one of Fincher's best, though. It's not one of my top 5 of the year. Yeah.
No. I mean, it's fine. I liked it fine. But I just thought that Mank was the least interesting character in almost every scene.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would rather have been found out more about Amanda Seyfried's character or about literally almost anybody else.
I probably got to in college. I wrote an essay, and I spent like 3 weeks writing an essay about Citizen Kane. So all of the Easter eggs I was picking up on, right? So that probably enhanced my experience. But in terms of Gary Oldman's portrayal as Mank, he's not the most likable character. So I think that was an issue there. Yeah.
Well, and it's just the thing that's hard about portraying alcoholics in movies is that their personality, their attributes is very repetitive. They do the same thing all the time. And so making that interesting is actually, I think, pretty hard. And they can be pretty selfish and manipulative in order to feed their addiction. And so that can be hard, make it hard to like the character as well. And I don't know, I was just always thinking, wow, I wish this movie was about that person or that person or that person.
Amanda's character, she was phenomenal. I think her nomination is well deserved. I loved her.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have nominated Gary Oldman for it, but it's a
Okay.
showy role. So I get
It
it.
is.
I get it.
Yeah.
But all right. So then we have Nomad Land. And I liked this movie. I'm not, I guess, not as high up on it as I think you are, or as a lot of
Mhm.
people. I certainly gave it fresh,
Yeah.
but it's not in my favorites of the year personally. The thing I think would have made it a little bit better for me is I feel like I don't know. I feel like as a single woman, there's some things about her safety and her life that kind of like I'd like I left asking some questions
Okay.
about
Okay.
her, and I can made me wonder if this was a little bit polished
Yeah.
in its
Okay.
portrayal of what
Okay.
this lifestyle would really be like. Maybe I'm totally wrong there,
Yeah.
but I don't know. There was a few things I had questions about with her, but it was still beautiful and a great performance for sure.
Yeah, those thoughts never necessarily crossed my mind. That's an interesting point. I'm so obsessed with, I think, Chloe Zhao as a filmmaker at this point. I just love
Mhm.
her style. I love her look. The fact that she's doing Eternals. I mean, I'm salivating for Marvel's Eternals now that I know she's behind the camera. And, it really is one of those films. I was impressed with the fact that she got actual nomads to give performances like they did.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, I can't remember her name, but that performance, and you probably know which character I'm talking about, genuinely made me emotional, and that's just very impressive for a non-actor, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And I really thought the movie had a lot of empathy for its characters.
Absolutely.
That you felt that the director really loved these characters. And I think that
Yeah.
goes a long way in making for a really endearing film. I just
Yeah.
basically said in my review, I said, it seems unlikely that a single woman alone in a van would be so protected from predators
Mm,
and bad men. But
mm.
never once in the film is that a problem. Maybe I'm too nervous as a single woman myself,
Mm.
but there was no seedy side at all. No drugs, theft, or anything else unkempt.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is. I don't think. I think Frances McDormand, not even her character in this movie, she just doesn't strike me as someone who fears anything.
Yeah,
But in
that's
terms
fair.
of putting her character in that situation, yeah, that's interesting that none of that was ever. I think it was Zhao's just. I know the movie is not all the way optimistic, obviously, but I think it was more her optimism for those people and the fact that they wouldn't. But with what you said, that's probably something that would happen. So yeah, it was interesting that they never went in that direction.
Yeah. And maybe it's just because, I am a single woman and maybe, sort of, maybe I fear for things that maybe I shouldn't even, but I would definitely be nervous if I was
No, yeah,
myself.
I would too. I would
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Next, we have Promising Young Women, which I am surprised this didn't get counted as a musical comedy.
Me, yeah, me too.
Right?
I think I'm
Like,
with you. I think I'm with you.
I
I
mean,
love the movie, but
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's definitely a dark comedy, of
yeah,
course, but I think it's more a comedy than it is a drama.
yeah. I think I agree with you. Well, it's quirky. I could see, and we won't spoil anything, but I could see the way that it ends. It not necessarily being the most comedic thing, but even then, it almost plays that situation. It's so unexpected that it's kind of comedic. So yeah, I'm definitely kind of with you. That's a little bit of a surprise. I didn't even think of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it seems like they were really, really big in there for comedy
Yeah.
musicals.
Oh, yeah.
So, where there were plenty of dramas to pick from. So I don't know. It seems strange to me. But what do you think of Promising Young Woman?
I loved it.
Mm.
I loved it. I have not seen a movie like that. Like, maybe ever. It's just so unexpected. And a lot of people didn't love the finale of the film, understandably.
Yeah.
Uh, I did. I just love the way that it turned out.
I did too, because I felt like we needed to see her get her revenge.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
So to me, it was satisfying that, she was in the end smarter than everybody else. People are like, oh, it's a man hater movie. And I'm like, no, not really. It's like we hate everyone.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like
Yeah, completely.
like I said in my review that I felt like it was Black Christmas done right. Like a lot of the themes of Black Christmas with, consent and talking about, sort of campus life and things like that, that it tried to comment in, but it was done actually, I think, right. And there wasn't this idea. The thing with Black Christmas is that there was an idea that you had to behave like these characters or you were not a valid woman. You weren't a valid person, and you were part of the problem if you didn't behave like this, kick butt women or whatever. Whereas in this, they're not saying that. They're not telling you to act like Cassie, I think her name is, like at all. Like she's obviously an incredibly toxic human being who ends up paying a price for her behavior. Like there's no validation here.
I'm completely with you. And that kind of shocked me in some of the reviews. Well, more Twitter summaries that I've read is that mindset. And I'm like, no, they don't want you to be. I mean, I was watching this film when she attacks the vehicle at that point. I'm like American Psycho almost, just like rage and fury. But again, even though they don't want you to be like this character, you still resonate with her because of the motivations behind her actions, even though the actions are completely ridiculous and far-fetched. So I really loved how they approached it. And we'll get into director, I'm sure, but to see Fennell get the nod for that, I think is really, really great because the direction was the highlight of the movie. So and again, I won't spoil the ending, but the ending, I just thought nailed it.
Yeah. I don't think Justin says no spoilers, girl. I don't think we spoiled it at all.
Oh yeah. Well,
we're good.
No worries.
You'll
know when you get there, you'll be like, okay. All right. Yeah.
All we said is some people liked it, some people didn't. And there you go.
Yeah. And
so anyway, that was kind of my thoughts. I just felt like that it was a really interesting, bold movie, and I don't think it's as much of a feminist agenda movie that some people might think from maybe the advertising or whatever. It's a revenge movie.
Yeah, I noticed the IMDb score was extremely low before the movie came out.
Right. So. All right. Then we have The Trial of the Chicago 7. And, there's definitely some pushback on this movie. The weird thing for me is that I'm actually not as high on Aaron Sorkin as a lot of people. I don't dislike him. I just don't think he's like the savior of writing, like some people seem to think. Okay. But this was actually one I liked more than a lot of his other stuff. So
interesting.
It's one of his weakest. But I don't know. I thought that his style of writing works best with an ensemble, and the fact they had all these people in the same room, and because sometimes I get frustrated with his characters, I don't feel like they are as nuanced as I'd like them to be. And in this case, it kind of worked because it was all these crazy characters in this trial to me. Yeah. And so I'm weird, but yeah, I thought it was really satisfying. I enjoyed it.
I really did too. I think this movie is so, and a lot of it has to do with, honestly, the unexpected element, not necessarily his writing, his direction. It's so upbeat and well paced and feels like one thing after another, and you're just constantly, wow, I have been engaged the entire time. There's not one scene where I'm not engaged. Now, I do understand the criticisms, and I won't spoil it again, but of the ending of the film, it is very much a different tone than most of the rest of the movie. It bothered me less on second watch. It still didn't completely do it for me, but I still love the movie because of the way that it balances tone and the pacing and all of those things. Yeah.
To me, the ending felt almost Capra-esque, like Jimmy Stewart or somebody like that, kind of. And I like those movies, so I liked the ending. I thought it was.
Up and clap.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like crowd pleasers, like openly. I mean, obviously, I watch 115 Hallmark movies a year. I like kind of cheesy, heartfelt, kind of that's my jam. And so I really liked The Trial of Chicago 7. I thought it was good. I'm glad that it got nominated. It wasn't in my top 10, but I still enjoyed it. So, all right. And we got some comments on Sorkin's writing, a lot of fans. And I'm not a fan. I don't know. People just go so crazy. I think he's best at writing for television, actually, in my opinion, more than movies. I like The West Wing, I think, is so great. And like when you can get that like ensemble feel, his kind of witty banter, I think works better than in some of the movies that I'm just like, oh, I want more from that character.
Okay, I understand that. I love his writing, but I could see it is very not theatrical. That's not the word, but sometimes it is over the top. Like I like that style, like in The Social Network. I think that works exquisitely. But for something like The Trial of Chicago 7, you're right. He is so well suited for that format of just a well-rounded 8, 9+ people cast that each person gets that moment to shine. And I just thought it worked really well.
Yeah. All right. Now we have the dubious category of musical comedy. What on earth? Okay, so it started out Borat subsequent movie. I haven't seen either of the Borat movies. Not really.
Okay, they're funny.
Yeah. But what did you think of this sequel?
I think not as funny as the original. I didn't like it as much as the original. I still enjoyed myself though. I thought it was funny, as crazy as you could possibly imagine. Does it strike me as an awards caliber movie? Not necessarily, but when you have that category with a lack of comedies from last year, I could understand completely why it got in.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that some of these animated movies would get considered for like, why not have Soul? That counts as a musical in my book?
Yes, it does. Why was that? Yeah, over Borat completely. Oh.
Yeah, right. Okay, so then we have Hamilton. So I guess were you officially considering Hamilton as an Oscar contender for Best Picture?
At this point, I don't know. I don't know, because I thought for the entire time that we weren't. I didn't put it on my top 10 movies of last year because it just doesn't really strike me as a movie. But I don't know.
I did finally. I wasn't going to. I literally filmed my best of movie list 3 times because I just couldn't.
Couldn't figure it out.
No. And so I finally put it in because I figured, what the heck? Who cares? It's just my stupid list. But yeah. I mean, I loved it. Of course, I did. I mean, it's Hamilton. It's brilliant. But I don't know. It just seems weird to me to have it as in this list to me.
Yep, I agree.
Sarah Hamilton is not eligible for an Oscar. Okay,
makes sense. Yeah,
I
wouldn't expect it to be. So the fact that it got this nomination was like, okay.
Yeah, it's surprising to me. What else is it? If Borat was scripted, I wouldn't find it funny. It's the genuine and often eye-opening reactions that make it what it is.
Yeah, if it was scripted, there would be I don't think there would be any point to it. But you're exactly right. I mean, you're basing this entire movie, and I'm sure they filmed so much more than they put in the film, but you're basing this off of the reactions of the individuals, and they got some really good ones in the sequel, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. All right. Well, next we have music, which is bonkers. Oh, because the only thing that I have heard, I have not seen it, so I have no dog in this race. But the only thing I've heard about it was that people complaining that it's ableist because they have non-autistic actors playing autistic characters. Oh, no. And I guess Sia said some not very PC things and got in Twitter wars with people about it, and people are upset. Yeah. So that's all I really know about it. I don't really know anything about the story or anything. I just know that there was all kinds of hullabaloo about it a few weeks ago on Twitter.
This was and I filmed my reaction video. I was baffled because I've never, ever, I've gotten screeners, I've gotten CCA emails. I'm literally voting in the Critics' Choice. This movie wasn't anywhere to be found. I mean, now that you say that controversy, that makes sense, but I would have thought I would have heard of the controversy. I don't know where I've been with this film. I can't speak upon it, obviously, but wow, what a shocker.
It's directed by Sia. It's written by Sia. It has Katie Holmes and Leslie Odom Jr. evidently in it, and it's The summary they have on the Golden Globes site says Zoo is newly sober when she receives news that she is to become the sole guardian of her half sister named Music, a young girl on the autism spectrum. The film explores two of Sia's favorite themes: finding your voice and creating family. So that sounds a lot like the what's it called? That Kate Hudson was in with Abigail Breslin, Raising Helen.
Oh yeah. I didn't actually watch that film, but I've heard a lot about it. But Kate Hudson being in this movie and that movie is kind of strange.
Just better raising her nieces, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. That's just so weird that I've never seen a movie like that. And we've seen films come out of nowhere. This is not even out of nowhere. This is out of the depths of IMDb of things that I've just never even thought to come across. It was just so random. It shocked me entirely.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Well, next we have what will hopefully win this. I'm hopeful it'll win because I think it has a chance of maybe getting a nomination at the Oscars. If it does win, is Palm Springs.
Oh, please. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it, Rachel. It's so good.
It's so good. And I guess Hamilton is my favorite of these, but I don't know. I just feel like Palm Springs should win.
I hope so. My body and my soul entirely hopes it wins. The movie, in terms of a Best Picture nom or anything like that, it's tough. It's tough because normally comedies aren't considered. But when you look at what this movie was able to do, the pure entertainment value and the creativity with the concept, a concept that we've seen how many times, but they mix it with a beautiful rom-com. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Awesome. Absolutely awesome movie.
Yeah, it was really, I saw it at Sundance last year for the first time. And then of course it went over to Hulu. And it's actually a romantic comedy that actually fulfills in the comedy department. Most romantic comedies aren't really that funny. And some of them will be witty, I guess, but that's actually funny, like legit funny. J.K. Simmons' character is hilarious in the movie. You'll laugh throughout at all the characters and such chemistry.
Oh, I love this movie. I've watched it, I think 4 times now, and everyone I've recommended it to has loved it. My brother, my parents, my wife, everyone. It's so good. And just regarding that comment, I am also like Hamilton, I think is maybe the best of everything that we saw last year. Hamilton's just phenomenal. Yeah. But when you look at the movies nominated, and maybe it's just me, I don't consider Hamilton a movie as much as I do all of the other nominees. And it's weird. That, and that takes nothing away from it. It's phenomenal. It's an experience in itself. But I'm rooting for Palm Springs. I really hope it takes home.
Same me too. Yeah. And we have Palm Springs was the film we all needed during some real bleak months. No question at all. And we all agree. Okay, last one.
Yeah.
The Prom. What I don't know. Like I actually went fresh on The Prom. It was just like fresh, like barely okay. It was so warm-hearted and had such obvious good intentions that to me that went over a lot of the flaws of the film. And I'm just like a musical junkie. I just love musicals, musical theater. So I enjoyed it, but it is it is not nomination caliber worthy. I mean, come on.
I'll tell you what? I think I expected this, Rachel, and here's why. They have been pushing so hard. I have gotten 3 boxes of stuff for The Prom. 2 different screeners, the same screener, but 2 different versions. They pushed very, very hard for this movie.
And so the soundtrack I got,
and the soundtrack, yes. So I believe I got one on vinyl for The Prom. So it's like,
oh my gosh,
I see it getting in. I see that, but like you said, it is a flawed film. I gave it a fresh as well. I gave it around a 60%, but compared to some of these other, which one was another round? Obviously, it's foreign, but when you look at movies like. When you look at foreign films,
it's so
in general,
weird too. Like you would think we didn't talk about this in the drama, but you would think it's the Hollywood Foreign Press. Why would they exclude foreign films from the rest of the year? What?
Yeah, and I would put, I mean, I guess another round, which because it's both dramatic and it's got comedic beats. So I guess I don't know which one I
in
would.
another language if it's one of the best musical comedies or dramas.
Well, and they put
Minari should
Minari
be
in foreign film.
included. What on earth?
Why? That's just, to me, it's just baffling the way that they go about things. But okay, yeah, there were some other movies I think should have gotten in. I did expect The Prom because it just felt like the movie that was going to get in. I did not expect James Corden, but I did expect The Prom getting in.
No. Yeah, it was crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I guess we need to go faster because we've got a half hour here. Okay, so now we have Best Actress, Motion Picture. We have Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day, United States versus Billie Holiday. I've heard nothing but bad things about this movie. Have you seen it?
I am I still embargoed? I can't even remember if I'm still embargoed. I have seen it. I'll say this: I didn't love it. But I did kind of expect it to show up maybe at the Golden Globes. It will not show up at the Oscars. I will tell you that right now. I did maybe expect the Golden Globes, but getting in for this category, I did not expect at all, to be honest.
Yeah. Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand, Nomad Land, Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Women. I think that this minus Andra will be the Oscars for Best Actor.
Do too. I thought Zendaya would get that fifth spot.
Oh, yeah.
I did. Okay. And I don't know. I guess it's not technically out yet, but so is a lot of the other movies they're talking about. But yeah, I just I thought for sure she would. That it's not that it makes me less hesitant or less enthusiastic about it getting in at the Oscars, because again, this doesn't really mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but it makes me a bit more fearful than I was. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because is that Malcolm Murray? Is that Netflix?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe they let that one down. Maybe, I don't know, in there because their publicity. I haven't gotten any screeners or anything for it.
I got one individual screener, but there's nothing. It was just the DVD. So yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So Best Actor, Motion Picture Drama: Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins, The Father, Gary Oldman, Mank, and then Tahar Rahman for what did you say it was?
Mauritanian.
That I had never heard of that movie before.
Yeah. It was a little shocking. It was very shocking that he got in, to be honest with you. I just, okay.
And I would not have nominated Gary Oldman personally.
So I'm trying to think off the top of my head, who were the others that didn't get in for that category? I'm glad Riz got in, by the way. He's phenomenal in Sound of
Metal. Like Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Especially the Mauritanian, I definitely think there was that's kind of confusing. Mickelson for me, from another round. It's Mickelson.
Oh, yeah.
What? Come on. Where is?
I guess they counted David Copperfield as a comedy. I guess.
Yeah.
Stephen Yeun and Minari, he's great.
I would have loved that over the Mauritanian, and even John David Washington for Malcolm and Marie. I think that could have been a. That's the best. Your comment just now, Delroy Lindo. That's the one for me.
Defy Blows was completely skunked out. Nothing.
What happened? Well, I mean,
no nomination at all.
There has been no lack of push for this. They have pushed it, and it didn't win Film of the Year. I can't remember which I can't remember which one it was, but one of these, best movie of 2020, it won Film of the Year, and that's when I put it back on my Oscar consideration list to be a heavy favorite for a nomination. But no Defy Bloods at all today. None. That was odd. Yeah,
that was really surprising. All right, Best Actress, Musical Comedy. We have Maria Bakalova in Borat, the subsequent movie. Yeah. Kate Hudson in Music. Michelle Pfeiffer, French Exit. Rosamund Pike, I Care a Lot. I have never heard of that. What is that? I Care a Lot. Anya Taylor-Joy in Emma. Yay!
Yeah, I love that. That's great to see.
That made me happy because I love that movie. I don't know. I don't think any of these will be nominated for Oscars.
No, they're saying that there's a shot Maria from Borat, but I don't see that. Honestly, honestly, Emma. I mean, I think she could win for Emma. I really do. I mean, you know, I didn't. She was my 6th or 7th to get in, but now that she's in, and I'm looking at the other nominees, I'm like,
oh, for
okay.
this, I thought you were saying for the Oscar. I'm like, no way.
No, yeah, no, for the Golden Globe, yeah, I could
Oh,
see
yeah.
her winning this award over all of the others here. I like that too. Yeah,
that would make me happy.
Yeah.
All right, Best Actor, Motion Picture, Musical Comedy. We have Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat subsequent movie film, James Corden, The Prom, Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton, and I love Lin. Who doesn't love? Everyone universally loves Lin-Manuel Miranda, right?
Yeah,
of course. But he's not the best actor in that movie. He's not.
No.
Like,
what's his name? What's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. I thought he, whatever his name is, would score the nomination over Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is great. Even Daveed Diggs.
That's what I meant, not Ty Diggs.
I'm not thinking Hilarious. Of the other name, but both of them over Lin. And not that Lin was bad, but again, I just think he is outshined a bit by some.
Leslie Odom Jr. is better. I mean, there's no question.
Leslie Odom Jr., who is really present this award season, by the way. Leslie Odom Jr. is a beast of an actor. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that was weird. And then Dev Patel for Personal History of David Copperfield. I love Dev Patel so much. I think I'd be happy if he won this. And then Andy Samberg for Palm Springs. So that was cool too.
Yeah.
All right. Best Supporting Actress. This is Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy. Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
I honestly, I kind of expected it, Rachel, but yeah.
Boo. It was so bad. I hated that movie. Okay. Olivia Colman for The Father. I've heard she's really good in that.
Yes.
And then Jodie Foster for The Maritolonian, whatever.
Yeah, part of me, that was the only thing about that movie that I thought would get nominated, was her.
Okay. Amanda Seyfried for Mank and Helena Zengel for News of the World.
That shocked me. I did not see her getting in, but okay.
She's really good in it, but yeah.
Ellen Burstyn and Yoo Jung-yoon. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Both of those. Wow, Minari and Pieces of a Woman. Neither. I was in. Yeah, interesting.
Agreed. Both of those would have been really good winners. Then. I mean, I would love to have seen a movie hardly anybody saw, so I wasn't surprised, but I loved Catherine Deneuve in a movie called The Truth, and I thought that Juliette Binoche was also really good in it, but it wasn't on any streamers or got any campaigns, but it's a director, Hirokazu Korida, and I haven't seen a movie of his that I haven't loved. He's such a great director. And all his movies have really high scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. But so they're loved, but for some reason he just never has gotten that kind of like prestige director kind of status. And hopefully now that people are kind of, I think, with Parasite and everything, I think people are diving into foreign films a little more. People will check out Hirokazu Korida because his movies are so good.
I will. He
did one called Shoplifters a few years ago. I don't know if you.
Yes, that's the director. Oh, yeah. That's a very good movie, Rachel.
Right? It's so good. And so The Truth is his first movie that's not in Japanese and not set in Japan.
Huh.
So it's set in France. So
okay.
People should check it out. It's really good. Okay. So then we have Best Supporting Actor, Motion Picture. We have Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of Chicago 7. So double. Who would have thought that Borat himself would be a double nominee?
Well deserved. He's great.
He is really good in that. Okay. Then Daniel Kaluuya, Judas and the Black Messiah. Yeah, definitely deserved. Supporting, is it really supporting? I don't think so, but whatever. Yeah. And then Jared Leto for The Little Things. What? I just laugh. It's ridiculous.
I tweeted it and somebody was like, man, why are you hating on Jared Leto? It's like, I am not. I think he's genuinely, I mean, we've seen him win an Oscar before. This is not the movie. This is not I'm sorry. It's not the movie. It's not the performance.
No.
What?
Like, even in that movie, it's not the movie. It's not the best
No.
performance if you were going to award. But WB worked really hard for that nomination. That's the only explanation
Okay.
that I can think of. I mean, what? I
What?
mean,
Again,
there's
what?
so many. You could have nominated Johnny Flynn for Emma. I mean, just as one example.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so Best Director, Motion Picture, Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman, which I think is very exciting because I think it is a very strong debut.
I do too.
Yeah. David Fincher for Mank, Regina King, One Night in Miami. I mean, talk about a ton of Best Supporting Actors you could have nominated from that.
Yeah, seriously.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Aaron Sorkin, Trial of the Chicago 7, and Chloe Zhao for Nomad Land. So
yeah.
3 women. That's kind of exciting.
Love that. And, I think well-deserved. There's not one. I expected maybe Spike Lee, 4 to 5 Bloods, but I am not upset with that at all. And honestly, you could see all 5 of those for the Oscar nomination. You really could. So I'm happy with
it. Yeah, I thought he was bad in those things. We agree.
Preach it, John.
Yes. Okay. So Best Screenplay, Motion Picture, Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman, Jack Fincher for Mank, Aaron Sorkin, Trial of the Chicago 7, Christopher Hampton and Florian Zeller for The Father, and Chloe Zhao for Nomad Land.
Good category. Yeah, I think that a lot of those are expected almost. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Best Picture Animated. This made me very excited, of course, because I love animation. Croods, A New Age, Onward, Over the Moon, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. And I think that Onward is probably my surprise there.
Okay. Mine's probably The Croods, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wouldn't be like I would definitely nominate Shaun the Sheep for Armageddon over either of those. Either Onward or The Croods. And I think that I would be surprised if the Oscars went with this lineup. They tend to love Aardman and they tend to love stop motion. Yeah. So I would be surprised if they don't nominate Farmageddon at the Oscars.
Yeah, me too.
But I liked Onward. I know it's not the same as Soul, but I still enjoyed it.
I did too.
And I mean, I would love for the Oscars to be more accepting of anime. I mean, you have some pretty strong films like Lupin the First, which had incredible animation and was really beautiful. There was also, I mean, it doesn't have a chance, but I loved the My Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie. That was so good. And I think they do a good job in the My Hero Academia movies of making them palatable to non-watchers of the series because they have a little, at the very beginning, a little kind of fill you in kind of a thing, which helps you get up to pace and gets you. So I think they do a great job with those movies. And I thought this one was really good, but they're never going to nominate something like that.
What would they consider Weathering with You? I put it on my 2020 list because it got the wide release in 2020. Would that be, I know it was released earlier in other countries, because I thought Weathering with You it was really, really good, like better than Croods for sure. Yeah,
definitely better than Croods. I don't know what the cutoff is for the Golden Globes. I think the Weathering was on the 2020 Oscars list.
Okay.
Submissions.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, it's definitely better. Anyway, so it's an interesting list. And I mean, I think the Wolfwalkers should win. I think that Soul will win, but Wolfwalkers is my favorite movie of the year. So
Soul is my choice, but Wolfwalkers was my choice until the second I saw Soul. I just think both movies are top tier of last year. Phenomenal.
Yeah. And I just wish that Tom Moore could be recognized because he's made 3 incredible movies in a row. And I mean, an Oscar nomination is recognition, but I don't know. I just think he's an incredible director.
Yes.
And Cartoon Saloon, they've had 4 for 4 just of their studio. All 4 of the movies they've released have been really great. So they're really good. I said that I would put, I think, the 4 movies from Cartoon Saloon over the first 4 movies from Pixar.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my
first 4.
Back.
Wouldn't that be Bugs Life, Toy Story? Oh, man, that's tough. I don't know. Bugs Life, yes. I don't know. I can't. I don't know if I can go with Toy Story. I can't do that.
But I love those 4 movies. I mean, The Weakest is the breadwinner, and that's saying something because that's a good film.
Really good. Yeah.
Anyway, so best picture foreign language, we have Another Round, Lorena. The Life Ahead. I have not heard of that. Have you heard of that?
I've actually gotten a lot of Netflix push for it, so I did expect it. It was okay. Didn't love it. I'll say that.
Here's a good question. I wonder how different the nominees would look like if so many movies weren't delayed due to COVID. Yeah, that's the $1 million question there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, completely.
In fairness, most of the movies that got delayed are more like blockbuster types that aren't typically going to get a lot of Oscar nominations. So, or Golden Globes, whatever. And so it might not be as different as you think.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it would be different. Something like West Side Story would would certainly be for musical or In the Heights. So there's certain things that would definitely be different.
I agree.
Okay. So, and then Minari and Two of Us, which I also hadn't heard of.
No, I got a screener for that. I haven't seen it yet. Again, just the Minari thing was very confusing for me. Yeah.
It's not a foreign film. It's filmed here in the United States.
I don't get it. Another Round is probably my favorite, but Another Round and Minari are both top tier of last year. So, but yeah, Minari, I don't know.
Yeah. Best score motion picture. We have The Midnight Sky, Alexander Desplat. We have Tenet, Ludwig Göransson, and only nomination for Tenet, which I'm not a big Tenet fan, so that kind of made me happy, to be honest.
I enjoyed it, but it is not a movie that, and it's funny because Warner Brothers didn't even push it for Best Picture. I didn't get a screener for it, but I got one for Wonder Woman, The Way Back, and all the other ones. So interesting.
Yeah, good point. Maybe Dune would have been, and that's a good
point. Oh, Rachel, you and I disagree on Dune, but I'll tell you what, I can't wait.
I have an open mind. I just didn't like the book. Okay. James Newton Howard, News of the World. Did you read Dune, by the way? Are you reading it?
I'm literally right over halfway reading it. And I'll tell you this, I like it a lot more than that movie in the 80s. Boy, that was a
all right. So then we have Mank, Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor, and we have Soul, John Batiste, Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor. And I think that Soul is by far the best of these, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Best song for motion picture. We have Judas and the Black Messiah, Fight for You, Trial of the Chicago 7, Hear My Voice, Life Ahead, the Low Seas Scene, One Night in Miami, Speak Now, in United States versus Billie Holiday, The Tigress, and Tweed. I'm surprised the Defy Bloods, wasn't that John Legend?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that. That's, again, what do they have against Defy Bloods? Yeah. That is, wow. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, now we're getting into the series, so you're going to have to help me with this. Okay, best drama series. We have The Crown. We have Lovecraft Country. Have The Mandalorian, Ozark, and Ratchet. And Ratchet seemed to be the big surprise what I was hearing on Twitter. I've only seen The Mandalorian of these. I saw like 2 seasons of The Crown, but I'm too busy in December.
It's interesting. Did you say The Queen's Gambit?
No, that comes up later.
Okay. So that one, because
limited series. So
that's limited series. Okay. So yeah, the Ratchet is the one that I just, it wasn't the worst, but I did not respond to that show. I was very shocked that it got it.
Yeah. And this is a good point. Over the Moon had a really good song.
It did. I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah. And Minari was great. Very true. All right. So best musical comedy series, we have Emily in Paris, The Flight Attendant, The Great, Schitt's Creek, and Ted Lasso. And I have only watched Emily in Paris on this list.
That's actually the one that so I enjoyed Emily in Paris, but I would not. I don't know. It didn't strike me as a movie that would make this list. So that was very interesting. I'll tell you what, though, Ted Lasso. Have you seen that, Rachel?
No, but I've heard. My friend Jen told me got to see it. She really liked it.
I was late to the party, but I'll tell you what, it is a great show. Yeah,
I've seen a couple episodes of Schitt's Creek. Enjoyed it. I just haven't had time.
Right. Yeah.
And I heard good things about The Flight Attendant and The Great. I haven't. They don't look like they're for me. But it's just a shame that if you're gonna Emily in Paris, if you're gonna do that kind of style, and I just feel like there were so many better. Like, why would there be a problem of nominating like The Babysitter's Club or I don't know. I mean, that was definitely better.
Where does Bridgerton come
in?
Yeah, where was that? Over Emily in Paris? 100%.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so then best television motion picture, this includes limited series. So this is Normal People, which I hadn't heard of, Queen's Gambit, Small Axe, The Undoing, and Unorthodox.
Yeah, I love Unorthodox, love Queen's Gambit, and the Small Axe anthology. I could definitely see that. Those were I've only watched two.
But you ever heard of Normal People?
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of. I didn't see it, but it was the Hulu, maybe it was Amazon. I think it was the Hulu series that literally everybody was telling me to watch, that it was great. So I heard it was great, but I haven't watched it yet, unfortunately.
Yeah. Ted Lasso is funny. Watched it because of Austin's recommendation.
Yeah, nice job. That's awesome.
Okay, let's whiz through these last ones. Okay, so Best Actress, we have, this is in Television Motion Picture, we have Cate Blanchett, Mrs. America, Daisy Edgar Jones, Normal People, Shira Haas, Unorthodox, Nicole Kidman, The Undoing, and Anya Taylor-Joy, The Queen's Gambit. You feel like those are pretty fair?
Shira Haas, Anya Taylor-Joy, overwhelmed that they are getting so much love. That just Shira Haas has a scene, Rachel, from last year that broke my heart in its entirety, and she deserves the win based off of that. But I would not be shocked if Anya Taylor-Joy wins for Queen's Gambit.
Okay, Best Actor, Television Motion Picture. We have Bryan Cranston, Your Honor, Jeff Daniels, The Comey Role, Hugh Grant, The Undoing, Ethan Hawke, Good Lord Bird.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo, I know this much is true.
Yes. Ruffalo is the one that I really wanted to see in there. The Good Lord Bird, I've heard great things about with Hawk. Nothing too huge in terms of a snub. I'll probably be rooting for Ruffalo there, but I think they're all really good. I haven't seen Bryan Cranston's show either, so.
Haven't even heard. I mean, I think I heard of The Undoing. I haven't seen any of these. Okay, Best Television Actress. Have Olivia Colman for The Crown, Jodie Comer for Killing Eve, Emma Corrin for The Crown, Laura Linney, and they said Lindley. Did you like that?
So there are a couple pronunciations in there. I was just like, nope, that's not it. But I can't say anything.
Forever. You don't need no Laura Linney. I mean, come on. Ozark, Sarah Paulson, Ratchet. I mean, I'm glad to see Laura Linney getting good parts again, because there was a rough period where she was like in that Ninja Turtle movie and stuff like that. I'm like, what is happening to your career?
Yeah.
Okay. Best Television Actor Drama Series. We have Jason Bateman, Josh O'Connor for Jason Bateman for Ozark, Josh O'Connor for The Crown, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Al Pacino for Hunters, and Matthew Rhys for Perry Mason.
Yeah, Al Pacino for Hunters. Man, that's random. I'll tell you what, I love Pacino, but that is very, very random. Yeah, that's a good category. Otherwise, I think a lot of those have a good shot at winning.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's Pacino, you give him a nom if he's not an Adam Sandler movie. Yeah. This year of Anya Taylor-Joy, Queen's Gambit was phenomenon. So agreed. Okay. Best Television Actress, we have Lily Collins, Emily in Paris, Kaylee Cuoco, The Flight Attendant, Elle Fanning, The Great, Jane Levy, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and Catherine O'Hara's Schitt's Creek.
That is O'Hara's to lose. She is I think she's 100% going to take that home. I can't stop singing Dunkachinos in my head because you mentioned the Adam Sandler movie. So thank you, Rachel, for that.
Well, I feel like I haven't been keeping track, but it seems like Zoe's Extraordinary Place is the first network nomination.
You might be right. I haven't watched
all
that
of these
show,
streaming shows.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Best Television Actor, Musical Comedy Series, Don Cheadle, Black Monday, Nicholas Hoult, The Great, Eugene Levy, Schitt's Creek, Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso, and Rami Youssef for Rami.
Yeah, the last three, I'd say Schitt's Creek is going to take it again, but Ted Lasso, I love seeing Sudeikis. This is the role, man. This is the role I've been waiting on him to get for a long time, and to see him get in for Ted Lasso is, if the Golden Globes did anything, they gave respect to Ted Lasso, which I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Best Supporting Actress, Television, Gillian Anderson for The Crown, Helena Bonham Carter, The Crown, Julia Garner, Ozark, Annie Murphy, Schitt's Creek, Cynthia Nixon, Ratched. So
Ratched,
there we
a lot
go.
of love for Ratched.
Yeah, for The Crown too.
Yeah.
Okay, Best Supporting Actor, Television, we have John Boyega, Small Axe, Brendan Gleeson, The Comedy Rule, Daniel Levy, Schitt's Creek, Jim Parsons for Hollywood, and Donald Sutherland for The Undoing.
Yeah, that's yeah, the Parsons one, not completely. I probably expected all of these, to be honest with you. They weren't all of my top 5, but I expected all of them had a shot to get in.
Mm-hmm. Once again, all shows I have not seen. Okay, so then we have the last thing. We have the Cecil B. DeMille Award going to Jane Fonda, and the Carol Burnett Award to Norman Lear. So there we go.
Okay.
So that is our Golden Globes. And so congratulations to the team behind the prom. Way to go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's probably my biggest surprise, even though I probably shouldn't have been. I was just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
But you know, there you go. That's what the Hollywood Foreign Press, which is like, I guess, a very small group. I think it's like 60 people that vote on these awards.
What are the odds that Jared Leto gets nominated for Morbius next year? What are the odds? Because at this point, it feels like a lock. You know? It feels like a lock to me, Rachel.
I mean, why not?
I'm going out on a limb.
They seem to be big fans of Jared Leto.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yeah.
And I guess co-stars made it out alive without being harassed. So
yes.
Give him an award for that. So everyone give this video a thumbs up. Great job, Rachel Austin. Thank you so much for your great comments, and we really appreciate it. So there we go. That is our thoughts on the Golden Globes. I was just like, this is so bonkers.
That was awesome.
But congratulations to all the winners. I mean, all the nominees, and we are just be glad that we got so much entertainment that we got in 2020. So there we go. And hopefully the actual award show will be more exciting. I think it's going to be Amy Poehler and Tina Fey again. So that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great. I didn't know. I guess I did know that, but I completely forgot. But yeah, that is going to be an exciting and hopefully hilarious show. We'll see how the quarantine aspect, how they do it, but I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing some coverage of Sundance over on Austin's channel. So you'll want to check that out. And Austin, where can people follow you?
Yeah. You guys can find me, Austin Burke, on YouTube, at The Burkenator on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm doing Letterboxd all the time, watching movies. So find me at my house.
Yeah. And you can find me here at Rachel's Reviews all over the place. And make sure you also are following the Hallmarkies podcast. We had our podcast awards this week, and we got Lacey Chabert to come on and accept her awards. That's
cool.
Huge.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
Totally fetch, and I was so excited about it. So make sure you check it out. It's really fun. And we do interviews and all kinds of coverage over there. So, all right. Well, thanks so much for all of the comments in the chat. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye.